on today's wrestling news, more details have emerged as to what exactly happened between Shane McMahon, Tony Khan and AEW.
Sonya Deville was negotiating a new WWE contract before her release.
TNA is officially walking with Elijah.
And a flashback to Vince McMahon's insane plans for the 2022 Royal Rumble.
I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Michael Hamflett.
And this is the after news. So do you remember over the summer there was that weird period where there was like footage or a picture was released or escaped of Shane McMahon, what are you doing coming in here, in a meeting room with Tony Khan, and loads of speculation about him coming in to save AEW, as reported, that's what they were saying, by Fightful and WrestleTalk. Well, more details emerged yesterday, the 20th of February. 20. Interesting that. More on The Rock, by the way, returning on the morning news. It was reported by Jonathan Coachman on the Coach and Bro Show. More details on this that was summarised brilliantly by Andrew Baydala on Twitter. Coach stating that Shane McMahon, during the meeting with Tony Khan, asked for equity in the company, AEW, and Shane also wanted to come in and run the entire show. Jonathan Coachman then stated that apparently afterwards, Tony Khan ghosted Shane McMahon. More details about this from Fightful, saying that Shane apparently didn't have the product knowledge or familiarity with AEW and their business model. And apparently didn't take it personally when Tony Khan just stopped responding to him, basically. Khan almost thought Shane was joking when he mentioned the possibility of running everything. But Shane did view his insight and abilities to run a show as valuable after witnessing years of the Fed, obviously. There was never an expanded plan for Shane McMahon on AEW TV, more's the pity, or to be involved with the company. And those that Fightful spoke to within AEW say that Tony Khan hadn't spoken about it extensively outside of noting that the two sides simply met and aren't working together. So yes, there is a version of events where not only does Shane McMahon come into AEW, he owns part of the company and takes over running everything, basically. So Tony Khan can, I suppose, focus on the Jacksonville Jaguars and Fulham.
There is indeed something in that. Something in the water, I was going to say. Something in the McMahon brain water. More on that later on in this very news. When the news came out and the picture came out, and there was even talk of, was it Shane McMahon with the Young Bucks?
Maybe,
and he bumped into Mercedes money. All right, innocent, that one, but as it turned out, there was smoke to the fire. It was funny that we had, fun speculating, and I just mean we, I mean like in the comments of the wrestling community at large, had fun speculating that Shane McMahon might have been kind of an on-screen greater power for what has ultimately become the Death Riders, right? I mean, he couldn't have made it any worse in hindsight, could he? But back then, that speculation was greeted with, that's awful.
Yeah.
Shane McMahon, a figure on screen with real power and authority. I mean, that wouldn't have been the half of it if he'd have got what he wanted, really. Hey, no disrespect, mate, but are you dumb? The idea that he would, I'm not one for the art of the deal, that Trump book, and when I watch The Apprentice, negotiations, they make me squirm when people go in wanting too much from it. There's a limit, right, where he's like, I'm looking for a 5-year guaranteed deal. It's a bit stiff, mate. Why don't we try 3 and say, no, I know the money you're handing out talent, and I'm talent. I want in on this. I'm the money. Here we go. No, Shane, let's renegotiate. Maybe 3-year deal. Half the company and I'll take over the creative direction. In one sense, I kind of admire
Tony Khan mean when he's drinking the water.
In one sense, I kind of admire the gumption, because I guess when you're Shane McMahon, if you walk out of that meeting with nothing, it's not like you're going home with nothing, is it?
No.
That is a man pitching with ultimate comfort in whatever else he's doing in his life.
Take it or leave it,
Yeah. We've got 2 billionaire sons. We talked about the certain comparisons at the times. Wild, absolutely wild, and I am unsurprised at how it has turned out in their follow-on from this.
I also like the fact that Tony Khan is like, are you joking, Shane? No, go away and think about it, okay.
Go away and think about it.
Next day, phone call from Shane McMahon. It's like me whenever a phone number that isn't one that I recognise calls. I'll leave it. If it's important, it'll go to voicemail.
New number, who dis?
Hey Tony, just wondering if you had any thoughts about Tony? Hello?
It's like Tony Khan gets. He's got woof.com from The Office. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, missed call, WhatsApp, all of it. Ding, 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 ding. Shane McMahon.
You had anything? Busy. I got Shane on the phone. Wait, tell him I'm in a meeting.
Yeah, but he knows you're always available. Wait.
I would love to
And
know.
that would explain, actually, I had all of his creative plans labelled Awesome Death Riders storyline, but he threw his phone in the river to stop Shane calling.
Bloody hell.
And then he forgot
Now we got
all,
this.
and now we got what we got.
Well, it would have been interesting to see what version of AEW with Shane. Well, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Would it have been able to beat NXT in the ratings? Probably not. But, you know, yeah, it'd been a fun show, regardless. I'll tell you what else is a fun show. Our bloody live show.
Yeah.
We banged on a lot about this in the morning news, so I'll keep this short and sweet, but... We get stuff like this made. It's awesome.
Yeah.
We are going to be doing a UK tour hitting Manchester, Belfast, Glasgow and London alongside all the WWE events. And don't worry! Hey! Calm down, dear. It's a live show.
It's good stuff.
Right?
That's good stuff.
Michael Winner reference there. You'll have plenty of time to get over to the WWE shows if you are going to them alongside these. And also, we're going to Las Vegas the night before WrestleMania weekend. God, that's... less than 2 months away now, of course, and we're going to be doing our biggest live show watch-along ever at the HyperX Arena. It looks incredible. We're doing all the usual stuff, Q&As, meet and greets. You can get your photos taken with us. You can tell us your amazing booking ideas, or your terrible ones as well. And also,
Shane McMahon's.
if you want to be on Simon Miller's Ups and Downs for their SmackDown before WrestleMania, get yourself to that live show as well. All the details, whatculture.com/tickets, and it's in partnership with the brilliant Sweet Chin Disco, which I am going to be hosting alongside my best friend now, Mark Henry. Move over, MJF. Mark Henry now, my new best friend. No, I'd never say that to Maxwell, of course. But for the tour, Mark Henry's going to be my best friend, and there may be another big name announced very soon. I've literally been told if I say any more about it, Sam is getting rid of me because Mark Henry can DJ and do everything, basically. So do join us for that. Dice.fm if you want to join us for Sweet Chin Disco. It's the best wrestling, it's the only wrestling club night, let's be perfectly honest, and it is an amazing night. If you're there in London, you know what to look forward to. If you want to join us for the live show, whatculture.com/tickets.
If WWE is in town, we are too.
What Culture is now in your city?
I love that. Who won't be in your city with WWE, at least not for the time being, is Sonya Deville. She was one of the releases a couple of weeks ago and has spoken for the first time in a YouTube video that I recommend you go and watch.
It is good, yeah.
If you're a fan of the real shooter like we all are here at WhatCulture.com, Sonya Deville kind of sat with her wife, goes into a lot of detail about the release, about like kind of what she's got coming next. She's got some I think quite some positive and pragmatic thoughts on the process and her time with WWE. And she went into a little bit of a detail, but there was a surprising little nugget of information in there. She notes that when she got the call, quote, "We were in the middle of negotiations, so I thought the phone call was going to be, about a middle ground that we met on, an agreement and a contract." And the quote was, "We are not renewing your contract." So it wasn't quite what she expected. So for complete transparency, this is the first time I'm saying this, I was shocked. She obviously references her wife there. We were both shocked. First and foremost, I had the greatest 10 years of my life. So grateful. The stories on the road, the travelling, the wrestling, the performing. I lived out dreams I could have never imagined. I think I manifested them as a child, but never could have dreamt something so incredible. So grateful to WWE. And at the end of the day, it's a business, and I think business-minded. She does go on then obviously to speak about kind of the things she wants to do next. She doesn't ever rule out making a WWE return or indeed a wrestling return. I dare say the 90-day clocks are counting down on all of the released wrestlers, as is often the case. The world, in some respects, I guess, is feeling a little bit more closed off because you have WWE, AEW, and then all the various companies that kind of seem to feed into them. But, as we've seen in the past, you can still enter in through those feeder sort of side hatches, and who knows how it can work out. We are speaking on a week where the likes of Moose has appeared on NXT. The Hardy Boys are returning to WWE. Yes. Anything can happen. No, I'm being flippant there, but yeah, the point is at this point, yes, while it may seem like those business relationships close doors, it does seem that they leave windows ajar as well. Yes. We're going to talk about another signing for TNA in a second. So yeah, who knows what's next for Sonya Deville, or the artist now formerly known as Sonya Deville. Of course, like one of her more memorable sort of aspects of the WWE decade was teaming with Mandy Rose, who has now also been gone a year. And who knows, we might get to see some of them. They could. It's like when you get hyped for the Iconics making their first indie appearance together in sometime in Las Vegas the week of WrestleMania, which of course will be at the HyperX. Who knows?
And I'll be at that bloody show.
Maybe you'll see the artist formerly known as Fire and Desire kicking back around.
That'd be fun.
The tag scene as well.
Yeah, with this and with the WWE releases, I just sound like a bit of a broken record. Simultaneously surprised and not surprised whatsoever. The releases, came as a shock. Some of the names, I'm not going to mention which ones, less surprising than others, but some of them I felt very weird about. Giovanni Vinci felt like someone who they really dropped the ball.
Sonya Deville was in the Rumble.
Yeah, and Sonya Deville was a real shocker because obviously she's had a terrible time of it outside of the ring, and that doesn't necessarily mean she should, keep a contract for that specific reason line. But I think she's always shown great deals of potential and always gone full throttle in terms of whatever she's doing. Yeah, they had the PFC, which it seemed like they were building to doing stuff with, and then they never really pulled the trigger on, to be perfectly honest.
Quite a credible SmackDown authority figure in a terrible time for authority figures.
Yeah, she had to do that bloody belt swap between Becky and Charlotte, didn't she?
Yep.
But it is sort of personifying of how things sometimes work within WWE, that she's waiting for a money offer or whatever, and they go, no, change your plan, because clearly someone else, maybe the one with the big spreadsheet, has gone in and gone, that one's gone. Or we're in the middle of trying to get her to re-sign. Yeah, we're not doing that anymore. Best luck to her in the future. I think she'll, without question, will land on her feet and find something, whether it be in a different wrestling company or whatever. I like to say I would never rule out a return nowadays to her coming back to WWE, but a real shame for her.
The Mandy's Donuts, was it, when her and Mandy Rose did the Donuts on the Road on their YouTube channel? Yeah, check out the full thing. It is worth a look, and she just seemed very positive about the future. Big fan of Sonya Deville here.
Where she could end up, of course, is TNA, because recently we've seen another ex-WWE star pop up there. I say recently. Yesterday, we saw the former Elijah now is what he goes by, popping up on the live edition of Impact from Orlando. There had been rumours that Fightful, reporting on this, had also previously debunked, saying that he'd signed with AEW / Ring of Honor. TNA has had interest in bringing him in for quite some time by the reports of this, but not only have they brought him in for that show last night, but also confirmed he has signed with TNA Wrestling. No word on why he shot a vignette with the Righteous, who are still under AEW ROH contracts right now, but I'm sure that will be revealed in the coming days. But I've always liked the former Elias. I remember having fun with his Ezekiel character. Well, the Ezekiel character.
It's like a third brother there.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's talented, and I think he will be a great addition to the TNA roster. Particularly, there's still incredibly talented people there. Joe Hendry, of course, just becoming world champion recently, but they have been gutted somewhat by some of their departures, releases. They were doing budget cuts and what have you, of course, and having everyone from AEW with Josh Alexander to WWE with Jordan Grace going, yeah, we'll have them. So a real opportunity for Elijah here.
Yeah, somewhat unexpected, as you say. The vignette with the Righteous sort of found him all of a sudden in like the white version of himself, and it's like, not that he'd become an official member, and they were quite at pains at the time to say, or the report got out at least, he's not signed. This was just a bit of fun. I don't know, and he did like the vibe.
You are not allowed to meet with anyone from any other wrestling company when you're a free agent, because the people immediately go, cool, so that means that.
Well, I think it was just as well. Like, you see them, like, I think in that vignette, they're just walking alongside this lake, and he does fit. He sort of fits the vibe and aesthetic, but he rocks up in TNA, and a bit like what we saw.
Pun intended. Rocks up.
It is now. As we were saying with Sonya Deville and indeed other people, who knows just how ajar that window is to WWE for the people that have left WWE and kind of come back in through TNA, or indeed if he even wants it. Like Nick Nemeth has made that name for himself as a former TNA World Champion in the last 12 months, and there's no obvious sign that we're going to see Dolph Ziggler back in WWE anytime soon. He seems content to be Nick Nemeth within TNA. You've also got, obviously, the likes of Cora Jade going in the opposite direction to face Masha Slamovich at Sacrifice, I think. And, up until recently at least, Ariana Grace, the real-life daughter of Santino Marella, doing the talent liaison stuff with Santino as the general manager. So there's still a lot of flexibility where you can do bits for the other company without signing outright. Jordan Grace has made the move, has made the jump, but I don't expect someone, for example, like a Moose to do the same.
No. Would you say that in terms of Elijah joining TNA, it's more walk the line than cross the line?
Anyway,
let's talk more and more insane. Yeah, best luck to him. Vince McMahon, insane ideas. Let's go.
Yes,
I've read this, by the way. I'm excited.
I've kept this one a secret from you. Cast your mind back to truly one of the darkest creative timelines ever. No, not the entirety of 2002 to June 2022, but to the Royal Rumble 2022. You may have noticed this was brought up in the news early this week when there was discussion of WWE talent reaching out to Sean Ross Sapp, I think it was, and Fight for Select about the unrest within the women's division, and I think one talent in particular said, can you find out if I'm on the heel or babyface roster? Not all is well in that regard, and you can watch our video on that from earlier this week. But the comparison I think Sean Ross Sapp himself used during one of those conversations was, not as bad as the Royal Rumble 2022.
That was the Brock Ronda one?
Yeah. And it was a catch-all for, I guess, like talent reaching out and like record levels of unhappiness and dissatisfaction. And if you remember that event, you can understand why, Brock just kind of like winning the Rumble, having lost the title earlier in the show, and then immediately resetting him and Lesnar. Ronda returning, which was, it's kind of like
Shane going toe-to-toe with MMA fighters.
Yeah, Shane booking. There's a documentary to be made, a Dark Side of the Ring or something, on that one night backstage based on everything that apparently took place on that show.
The side of the ring is darkest just before the dawn.
I like that. But the Rumbles, the Rumbles themselves were very, very poor.
Yes.
And they were going to be even worse.
What?
Vince McMahon had a pitch for the 2022 Women's Royal Rumble match. Now, you may remember it was won by Ronda Rousey, who came in at number 28 as a surprise, not surprise return, but she not long had a baby, and it was always speculated upon, but it was still pretty impressive that she came back and won it from 28. Vince McMahon wanted her to literally eliminate every single other woman in the match.
Christ.
When the wrestlers say, I'm going to throw 29 others out there and go on to WrestleMania, that was his pitch for Ronda Rousey's night at the Royal Rumble. A pitch so deranged that the man tasked with agent in the match, TJ Wilson, better known as Tyson Kidd, just took some time away.
He's normally associated with the best things as well. I'm not surprised I'm not doing that.
Per the Fight for Select kind of did a bit of a follow-up on this with a bit of an explanation about one of the many aspects of the chaos around the Rumble 2022, and the report said, it's a great report in this, one particular area of note was widely respected producer TJ Wilson, aka Tyson Kidd, walked away for a period of time ahead of the Rumble. One of the reasons we were given was the vision Vince McMahon had was so off the wall that he had trouble coexisting with it. Wilson took the time away. WWE called in Fit Finlay to help produce the match. There was frustration with the match because as the vast majority of cameos had no real plan. There was a list of Summer Rae, Sarah Logan, Cameron, Kelly, Melina, Molly Holly and Ivory, who all spent less than a minute in the match because the Vince McMahon instruction was get in and get out.
Jesus.
There was other cameos planned for that Rumble from the likes of Peyton Royce, Billy Kay and Nia Jax, and at least one of those cited Tyson Kidd's lack of involvement in the match as their reasons why they
Billy Kay!
Billy Bloody Kay, Peyton Bloody Royce. But when obviously the word got out that Tyson Kidd was going to have nothing to do with it, they were like, well, us neither, thanks very much. So think, Sasha Banks, now of course known as Mercedes Moné.
Yeah, I was just looking at
she
the
was.
list.
You remember how she was number one and she had that awesome start, and then was just like her elimination was indistinct as all the rest and just tossed out. She was pitched as a potential winner, but no, it was always going to be Rousey. And if Vince McMahon had his complete way, it was going to be in one of the most deranged ways imaginable. And that show stunk. We're not talking about this thing that was like, whew, they pulled that one back from the brink, didn't they?
It's still bad.
Both Rumbles were absolute pure grade Turkarinos, and it could have been even worse than that.
Yeah. Bad Bunny and Johnny Knoxville were good in the men's.
Bad Bunny in particular was great in it.
But I will say this, Now, because I'm coming at this from an interesting position, because I'm not sure if you ever remember the Elimination Chamber at 2020, but I was a bit of a fan. Me and Phil Chambers, to the chagrin of some members of our audience, were big fans of Shayna Baszler running through everyone, eliminating everyone in that match. I thought genuinely it was inspired booking. It really established her as the person who obviously takes the title. Oh, she lost the title at WrestleMania.
Would you get excited for it and walk towards Shayna Baszler?
Yeah. Dread it, run from it.
That's all right.
I loved that, but this is insane, like you say. I mean, it's fair to say Ronda Rousey's got a bad reputation anyway, and her winning the Rumble wasn't exactly well received.
Nope.
Same as Brock, really. It's just like, cool. So you've just gone, that's Rumble season, smash, break in case of emergency. Who can save this WrestleMania? Cody Rhodes.
He'd done with some success, the 2020 Royal Rumble where Brock enters at number one, and he's trying
that
to
was
clear the
fun.
field, and then ends as the WWE champion, no less. Colin is how do you do? Does she?
Was Ronda coming at 28? There's 27 other people.
This is what I was going to say, right? She either enters at number one, and they do a 2020 do-over, but without the cool babyface moment in the middle that you need for that idea to work. It's like, I don't want it. Like there's no triumph for joy to it. It's like one after another after another. Or she goes in at 28, for example, and there's 27 other people. Or a worse combination of the two, where she comes at, like, say, 15, for example. There's 14 in there, bang, 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 bang. And then the second half of the match is just, are you excited? Well, don't be. Like, out they go. It's abysmal, mate. It is absolutely abysmal.
They Stone Cold did that in one Rumble, didn't he, of course? Of just like, I'm waiting for people.
Yeah, really
but
fun
then,
bit.
Like,
and then
Brett came out.
Well, there was, I thought you were thinking of a different Rumble, because, it was 1997 when Brett comes out. He's like, oh, no, it's Brett. And then in 2002, of course, Triple H is here. And then the Hurricane comes out, and there's Triple H and Austin, and all fun and games, and then the match restarts again.
But yeah, you look at the names, let alone the legends that we're going to be in there. Like, Sasha Banks, Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Natalya, Naomi, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair.
You get an elimination. Yeah.
Jesus.
Would have been abysmal. Would have been awful.
It would have been like, I think I'm going to just stop watching WWE levels. I think that was bad enough.
Plenty of people thought that over those 20 years. So,
Poor Tyson Kidd as well, by the way.
I know.
Yeah, just book this, make everyone happy, but Ronda's going to chuck everyone out.
Yeah, keep this roster happy, 364
Also, how
days.
they love breaking records. How'd you break that one?
Yeah.
Well, 29 eliminations.
Royal Rumble by the numbers. Ronda Rousey wins. That's the whole video back.
Ronda Rousey's the best. Remember this elimination? What about this elimination?
You thought that elimination was rowdy? Check out this one.
Surely well liked then.
No. Different time. Glad it's in the past.
Oh, God.
There you go.
So there's a version of Vince where Vince is still in charge and Ronda wins every Rumble every year. Well, 29 eliminations again, and Shane runs AEW.
In the comments, fantasy book. I'll give you the choice. Fantasy book, a Shane McMahon led AEW, or how on earth Ronda Rousey wins the Rumble eliminating 29 people. I open it up to the floor. I want to hear how
Do they do that spot that they did in this year's Rumble where like 29 women are all balancing, trying to fight each other? She just goes,
whoa! Brock returns with his tractor, tips the ring, and then just like they all fall out and Ronda's the only one left. We've done it. If you've got anything better, let us know. But I doubt you will.
Let's see what your problem was, Tyson Kidd. Go get a haircut, you bloody idiot.
Right. A haircut and a tractor.
Right. Let us know your thoughts on that and everything in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. If you want to check out this morning's news video, which I can't remember what the story was actually off the top of my head, what our lead story was. I mean, must not have been very important. Oh yeah, The Rock's return to SmackDown, WWE saved, and the 20 steps ahead thing is completely vindicated from me. Check that out, it's right here. Bye.
Click it. The tickets. WhatCulture.com/tickets.
Be a tickhead.